If you're watching this right now, chances are you're somewhere in one of these moments. Your last child has just moved out, or they're about to, or maybe it happened years ago, and you're still surprised by how often it still hits you. Or maybe you're preparing emotionally for something you know is coming sooner than you'd like. No matter where you are in the journey, there's one truth every mother eventually discovers. When your kids leave the house, it changes you. Not just your routine, not just your schedule, not just your home, you. And no one prepares you for that. No one tells you how a house can feel both bigger and emptier at the same time, how the silence can feel peaceful one moment and almost painful the next, how you can feel proud of them and heartbroken for yourself in the exact same breath. No one tells you how strange it feels to walk past their room and see it clean, or how you still hesitate to buy certain groceries because they won't be home this week, or how you still catch yourself listening for the sound of the door opening late at night. No one tells you that even if you're happy your kids are independent, even if you know this is exactly what you raised them for, even if you wanted this for them, the emotional transition still knocks the wind out of you. And here's something else we rarely talk about. When your kids leave, your identity shifts, your purpose shifts, your daily rhythm shifts in ways you don't fully understand until you're living it. You might worry that something is wrong with you, that you shouldn't be struggling with this, that you're supposed to instantly love having the house to yourself, that you're supposed to move on quickly. But the truth is, every mother goes through this. Every single one. Some cry for a week, some cry for a year, some don't cry at all but feel strangely numb. Some fill their time so much they don't slow down enough to feel it until it catches up with them later. This video is your safe place, your space to breathe, to feel understood, to feel seen, to feel less alone in something every mother experiences but almost no one talks about honestly. So take a breath. Get comfortable. This is for you. No one tells you how loud the silence becomes when your kids leave. For years, maybe decades, your home had a soundtrack: footsteps, doors closing, showers running, music from their rooms, laughter, arguments, the clatter of dishes, backpacks hitting the floor, the constant hum of life happening, and then suddenly quiet. An unfamiliar quiet, a quiet that feels almost wrong, a quiet that feels like something is missing because something is. You sit on the couch at night and think, is this it? Is this what the rest of my life is going to sound like? You walk into the kitchen and it's spotless, not because someone cleaned it, but because no one was here to make a mess. You open the fridge and everything is exactly where you left it. You realize how many years you spent listening for the sound of the door, waiting to hear them come home. And when that sound doesn't come, your body notices. Even women who love peace and quiet, women who have begged for 5 uninterrupted minutes, find themselves startled by how different the quiet feels now. Because it's not silence from rest, it's silence from absence. And here's the part nobody says out loud. Sometimes you'll fill the silence without realizing you're doing it. You'll turn on the TV just for noise. You'll leave a light on in the hallway. You'll play music while you cook. You'll talk to your dog more than usual. You'll call your kids for things you don't really need, just to hear their voice. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. This silence is an adjustment, a transition, a moment your heart needs time to understand. But here's the beautiful part. As the weeks go by, the silence becomes less of an ache and more of a space where you can finally hear yourself, a space where you can think clearly, a space where you can rest without interruption, a space where your needs don't come second, a space that eventually begins to feel like peace. But in the beginning, it's completely normal, natural, human. to feel a little lost inside it. For most of your adult life, you've been mom. Mom the cook, mom the nurse, mom the driver, mom the planner, mom the problem solver, mom the emotional anchor, mom the one everyone counted on. Your days revolved around their needs, their schedules, their moods, their routines. And then, overnight, your job description shifts. You're still their mother, of course, but the day-to-day role changes in ways most women aren't emotionally prepared for. You open your eyes in the morning and realize there's no lunch to pack, no reminders to shout down the hallway, no carpool, no backpacks, no slammed doors, no messes that magically appear, no daily chaos to stabilize. And the strangest thing happens. You suddenly don't know what to do with yourself. Even women with successful careers, even women with busy lives, even women with hobbies and purpose feel this, because being needed was part of your identity, a part you loved, even in the exhausting moments. And when that part changes, you feel it. You stand in their empty doorway and think, who am I now? What is my role? What does my life look like without them here? It's not that you lose your identity. It's that your identity needs to be rearranged. You're not disappearing, you're evolving. This chapter of your life isn't about replacing motherhood. It's about expanding it, becoming someone more, someone fuller, someone wiser, someone who has space to rediscover the parts of herself that were put on pause. This transition comes with guilt sometimes. You might feel guilty for enjoying the freedom, guilty for not missing them every second, guilty for wanting to reconnect with the woman you were before kids. But here's the truth. You're allowed to miss them and enjoy rediscovering yourself at the same time. Both can be true. Both are true for most women. This identity shift isn't a crisis. It's an awakening. And even if it feels uncomfortable now, it's leading you toward a version of yourself who is more grounded, more self-aware, and more connected to her own needs than ever before. People love to sugarcoat the empty nest. They'll be fine. You'll adjust. You should be happy for them. This is the natural order of life. And those things might be true, but they don't explain the emotional chaos happening inside you. Because here's the reality no one says. You can feel proud and devastated, relieved and empty, excited for them and uncertain for yourself, grateful and grieving, hopeful and homesick. Two emotions can live inside you at once, and they often do. Your heart is happy for your child. You want them to grow, to explore, to live independently. But your heart also aches because your daily life has changed forever. One moment you're smiling because they sound confident on the phone. The next moment you're crying because you miss hearing them walk down the stairs. And those tears, they come out of nowhere, in the car, in the shower, in the grocery store. While folding laundry, you no longer need to fold. While cooking a meal too big for the number of people at the table now. Even women who prepared for this, who counted down the days, who thought they'd be thrilled when the house finally quieted down, still get hit by emotional waves they didn't expect. And here's the part that might surprise you. This emotional roller coaster doesn't mean you're not strong. It doesn't mean you're failing. It doesn't mean you're clingy or dramatic. It means you love deeply. It means you invested years of your soul into raising someone you adore. It means you created a home full of memories and moments that shaped your heart. It means you're human. There's also the grief women don't admit out loud, the grief of time, the grief of realizing a chapter of your life has closed. The grief of accepting that motherhood doesn't stop, but it does change forever. But here's the good news. This emotional roller coaster is temporary. It won't always feel this raw. Your heart adjusts, your spirit rebalances, your joy returns in new ways, not because you forget your kids, but because you begin to find yourself again. When your kids leave, something unexpected happens. You get your life back, your time, your schedule, your choices, your evenings, your weekends, your priorities, your energy, your personal space. It's freedom, but it's a strange kind of freedom. At first, it feels awkward. You almost don't know what to do with the extra time. You catch yourself waiting for them to walk in. You cook too much food. You forget you can watch whatever you want on TV. You wake up on Saturday and realize the entire day is yours. And then a new thought appears. What do I want? Not what your kids want, not what your partner wants, not what your old routine required, what you want. Some women feel guilty even thinking about this. Some feel excited. Some feel overwhelmed. Some feel all three in the same hour. This freedom can feel like standing in a wide open field with no map, no instructions, no deadlines, just possibility. And that much possibility can feel intimidating. You might think, do I have hobbies anymore? What do I enjoy? What parts of myself did I lose over the years? Who am I when I'm not taking care of someone? This chapter of your life invites you to explore those answers. Maybe you start traveling more. Maybe you take a class. Maybe you go on walks alone. Maybe you rearrange the house the way you like it. Maybe you read more. Maybe you reconnect with old friends. Maybe you discover a new passion that surprises you. You don't have to reinvent your whole life overnight. And you don't have to find yourself instantly. Your only job is to gently follow what feels good, and slowly, the freedom that once felt scary begins to feel like a gift. Motherhood doesn't end when your kids move out, but the role changes, and that change can trigger a grief you didn't expect. You're not needed in the same way anymore. They don't ask for help as often. They make their own decisions. They manage their own lives. They call you when they want to, not when they need something immediately. And even though you raised them for independence, even though you want them to stand on their own, it still stings a little. Because for so long, your role was clear. You were the center of their world, their constant, their comfort, the person they needed for everything. And now, you're still important, but you're not the daily solution anymore. Some women feel replaced, some feel forgotten, some feel relieved, some feel all three. No one tells you how weird it feels when your child calls you to catch up, because they actually have their own life now, or how bittersweet it is when they visit and then leave again, or how the house feels full one moment and painfully empty the next, or how your heart breaks and beams at the same time when you see them thriving without you. This grief isn't about wanting to control them. It's not about wanting them to need you forever. It's not about being dependent on them. It's about letting go of the version of motherhood you lived for years and stepping into a new version that requires more trust and less presence. This new relationship is quieter, softer, slower, but deeper. You become a guide instead of a manager, a supporter instead of a fixer, a soft place to land instead of the daily routine. And once your heart adjusts to this new role, you'll see how beautiful it can be. This one touches every mother. The memories, they sneak up on you at the strangest moments. You're cleaning the house and find an old school project. You're driving past a park and remember pushing them on the swings. You're doing laundry and suddenly smell a familiar scent. You're in the grocery store and pass their favorite snacks. You're making dinner and remember the years when everyone sat together at the table. You open a drawer and find something they left behind years ago. And it hits you, out of nowhere. like a small ache in the chest, a little pull on your heart, a memory you didn't realize you were holding. Even women whose kids left decades ago still feel this. Because your children carry your history. They are living reminders of who you were at every age. Of the woman who hustled through exhaustion, who kissed scraped knees, who taught lessons, who ran errands, who managed chaos, who held the entire family together. And sometimes you miss her too. The younger version of you who didn't realize how fast it would all go. The version of you who thought the busy years would last forever. The version of you who didn't know she was living some of the sweetest days of her life. These memories are not meant to break you. They're meant to honor you. Every moment, every phase, every joyful or difficult chapter, they live inside you, and you're allowed to feel them, to remember, to cry, to smile. Memories don't mean you're stuck in the past. They mean your heart is full. Here's something women rarely admit out loud. When the kids leave, you finally get to become the woman you put on hold. The woman who had dreams. The woman who had desires. The woman who had ambitions. The woman who had passions outside motherhood. The woman who existed before everyone needed her time, her energy, her patience. And yes, that's scary, because you haven't met that woman in a long time. But this chapter of your life is about returning to her. You're not disappearing after your kids leave. You're just shifting, growing, opening, rediscovering. Maybe you start taking your health more seriously. Maybe you pick up a hobby you abandoned. Maybe you travel more. Maybe you spend more time with women who feel like sunshine. Maybe you try something totally new. Maybe you reconnect with your body, your confidence, your desires. You're not past your prime. You're entering a new one, a prime where you're wiser, more grounded, more patient with yourself, less worried about what people think, more aware of what actually matters. Empty nest isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of the chapter where you finally have space for your own life. Here's the part that surprises almost every woman. Your relationship with your kids gets better when they leave. Not because you love them less, not because you grow apart, but because they begin to understand you in a way they never did before. They appreciate you more. They call for advice. They ask questions they never asked at home. They see you as a whole human, not just mom. They recognize the sacrifices you made. They respect you differently. They begin to admire you in ways they didn't when they lived under your roof. Distance creates perspective. Perspective creates gratitude. Gratitude creates connection. You stop arguing about chores, curfews, messy rooms, and attitudes. Your conversations become deeper. Your relationship becomes more equal. You laugh more. You enjoy your time together instead of managing it. You become a mentor, a guide, a friend, a safe place. And here's the most beautiful part. They come back, not to live, but to visit, to talk, to share their life, to reconnect as adults. And those moments, those visits, those conversations, those hugs hit differently because they're chosen, and nothing in the world feels better than that. If your kids just left, if they left years ago, or if you're preparing your heart for the day they will, hear this clearly. You are not losing your purpose. You are redefining it. You are not losing your identity. You are reclaiming it. You are not losing your role. You are expanding it. The house may feel empty right now, but your life isn't. You are entering a chapter built on wisdom, freedom, peace, and rediscovery. A chapter where you get to decide who you want to be, how you want to live, what matters to you now, what brings you joy, what your days look like. what your future feels like. Your motherhood is not shrinking, it's evolving. Your worth is not fading, it's deepening. Your life is not ending, it's opening. And you? You are stronger, wiser, and more incredible than you realize. You raised humans, you built a home, you survived chaos, you poured your entire heart into a chapter that shaped your soul. And now it's time, finally, for your next chapter. A chapter with room for you, a chapter you deserve, a chapter you're ready for, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. Your kids may have left the house, but your story is just beginning.